Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine wanted to be
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady. But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time for another week of N4G Radio. This is episode 671 for October 11th, 2021. Spooky month, y'all. And on the show this week we have Anthony.
Hello.
And we got the Wombat too. I've come to suck your blood.
Blood.
I've been watching spooky movies. Well, let me walk that back a minute. I watched Critters.
Yeah, I guess you could define that as a spooky movie.
It had been like 20 years since I'd seen that movie.
I mean, Critters is kind of like, what if we did... Am I thinking Critters where it's like the Gremlins ripoff?
It's like the monsters from space, the little things.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's like, Halloween Gremlins. It's kind of that tone.
Yeah, I was
Obviously
surprised. I
more
was
violent.
kind of shocked at like how much of that movie I remembered because I must have watched it a lot as like as a younger kid. And just that movie is not great.
No.
But I love to watch it, and I didn't realize they made like fucking 5 of them or something.
Oh god, a bunch of them are straight to video.
Yeah. I feel like I need to watch those too. They're all on HBO Max, and I'm like, maybe I should watch these. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I always rewatch Ryan's favorite movies. I always rewatch Saw during Halloween.
Saw 1 is a fantastic movie. Saw 2, you can start to see that they're already sort of losing the plot or the passion.
I mean, that thing went... Oh, they just released a new one last year?
Yeah, Spiral.
Yeah. It's crazy how many of those movies there are. Oh, but anyway, video games. Anthony was excited as soon as he got in the call. He's like, I have opinions. I'm like, uh-oh. What you got opinions on?
Oh yeah, we're starting with me?
Yeah, we're going to start with you.
We'll leave it till last. I've been playing, because you've played it too. Eternal Cylinder. I know you talked about it last week before I showed up.
Yeah, I didn't talk much because I didn't play much, but...
I like it. I still haven't played a lot. I've played just past where you played, so it's like not enough to say too much. But it's got it feels like if they did Spore. If Ace Team did Spore, this is it. But now there's a giant fucking... I don't know if it's sentient or not.
It looks like
cylinder.
That big fucking... Yeah, it looks like it's like lava and some shit in it. I don't know. It's creepy looking.
The cylinder?
Yeah, it freaks me. Because if you look both ways, you can just see it for ever, obviously.
Yeah, you see it. It's clearly wrapping around the planet that you're on or whatever. Because it, goes past the horizon line, yeah. And I don't know. It's just this really fascinating thing, and it's just love that it's narrated like Planet Earth. The names of these critters are so stupid.
Man, it's half the fun.
And then it gets really it's weird, but you're like, oh, they're kind of cute, and you're seeing the other aliens. And you're like, yeah, they kind of gotta look animalish, and then you see the servants of the cylinder. And boy, things things get weird and not in a pleasant way.
I mean, it's Ace Team, so you kind of
Yeah.
expect it.
Yeah. And the other thing we'll talk about when we get to you, because I haven't played much this week, because fucking welcome to nights. You sometimes have weeks where you sleep a lot.
Well, there is that. All right. Well, we'll get to the big one in a minute. So I'll move over to the Wombat.
And I ain't played nothing.
All right.
I played Fire Pro Wrestling World is the only thing I played this week, which I already talked about last week. So
Now, that ain't nothing.
it ain't nothing. It's great, but and I got it modded, mostly. And this is out. So of all the things I love about the game, the UI is the worst. And so I had to mod it easily
Uh-oh.
delete prior downloaded wrestlers, because otherwise you have to delete them one by one in a really cumbersome menu. So, but some other cool. So it's got, some extra effects and some different things that you can do that you can't do the mod. So it was worth it. But anyhow, that's really all I played.
All right. Well, I guess I'll run through the older stuff and some of the other newer stuff before we get into our conversation about a little bounty hunter. I could talk about Alan Wake and Far Cry now that they're out. Alan Wake is still really good.
Yeah, my question about Alan Wake, and I realize this is going to sound stupid to some people. It's one of those remasters that's along the lines of, it looks like how you remember it, not it looks much better type of thing.
Well, see, here's the thing. My memory of Alan Wake on the 360 is it's very kind of almost like it's got a Vaseline filter over it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. I don't recall it that way, but I understand what you mean, yeah.
And this one, immediately out of the gate, I was like, wow, this is really clean. This is better than I remember it. And I'm not talking about models. The models are the same. But, just the lighting, the resolution, everything. And it's probably because, let's be fair, Alan Wake is not that far removed from my memory. That game is not that old. So, I know it's old in terms of video games, but it's not old as, looking at, a PS2 game being remastered or something. So, but no, it looks really good, plays really good. I mean, it's still Alan Wake. If you haven't played it, you should play it. It's a wonderful game. It's kind of sad American Nightmare's not in there, but...
It's been removed from the canon, so...
I don't care about the canon.
I know, but that that's part of the reason why they'll probably not reissue it, because originally that was the plan to move towards the sequel that never got made, and now that I guess in some ways that Control is the sequel, they are it's not part of the story anymore. I know that sounds really dumb because it was a side thing anyways, but yeah. That's apparently the reasoning.
Whatever. Just put it in there, who cares? I mean, they're remastering and remaking Knights of the Old Republic, and that shit ain't canon no more. Fuck off.
Actually, I believe Knights of the Old Republic is.
I thought all the extended universe shit was removed from the canon.
You would think, but that's been my issue all along, is that, Disney fucking decides, oh, no. We can sell this, so that's...
They can sell Shadows of the Empire, too, but if they bring that game back, then that whole trilogy now exists, which doesn't work.
It's like, anything that was up for sale beforehand that they were still selling, it's like, yeah, that's... all the extended universe books that you can still buy, it's like, yeah, those are, just what if. But then they'll be like, except for this, we like this one. And they pull that one, and they're like, yeah, that's canon now.
Well, I think Shadows of the Empire should get a second chance.
Knights of the Old Republic, the old version might not be canon, but the new version will be.
Yeah, but they're remastering The old one. It's coming to Switch in like
Yeah,
a
no,
month.
but that was that. But that's already exists on PC. That was already existing.
Whatever.
That's the thing. Like,
Fuck off. Just put
is it
American
dumb? Yes.
Nightmare as DLC for Alan Wake Remastered. I don't give a shit. I played Centipede Recharge. That game's pretty good. Fuck Centipede. I don't know what else to say about it. If you've played Centipede, you've played Centipede Recharge. It just looks better, and it's got like this. It's run based, so like you go until you die, and then when you die, you start over, kind of thing. Arcade game, good shit. I played a little bit of that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and that thing is unapologetic in its cloning of Smash Brothers. Like, we're talking down to the character select screen, the menus, the win screens, like everything. Like, the main menu. Like, all that shit is just straight up Smash Brothers. It does play really well. I'm kind of disappointed there's not, like, voices for the characters.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue with the kart racer, in my opinion, too. Is like, what character does this have? It has characters, but that's not the same thing. And that's, I think, Nickelodeon. Not because I can't imagine that the game company's like, no voices. I don't want to ruin that.
Dude,
I don't want to ruin this with voices.
If you had like Ren calling the Stimpy an idiot every time he got hit, that would make that game like 1,000 times better. Or if when Powder Toast Man comes flying in, he just yells Powder Toast Man. That'd be some good shit.
Would be some good shit.
SpongeBob yelling at Patrick the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that should be the sound when he flies off the map. Think about how awesome that is. See, you hear it now.
As it fades out.
Yeah. As he goes flying off the map, that'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. As it just fades into the distance.
Oh. That game's still cool though. Like, if you don't have a Switch, that should be your Smash Brothers, I guess. I love embargoes. They're very funny to me, but I'm playing the Crisis Remaster trilogy, and I can't tell you about it. Those three games that have been out for a while. Well, the first one, I guess, is already out, so it's included in it. I've talked about it before, but yeah, I can't tell you about 2 and 3. I played Bullets Per Minute, which is that game I don't really care for. Like
rhythm game boomer shooter.
Yeah, but the thing is that the boomer shooter part of it's not great.
Well, you have to do it to the rhythm of the
Night.
techno music.
That's what I was
wish.
waiting on. You gotta shoot to the rhythm of the night.
Dance until the morning light.
Oh, the main thing I noticed right when I got into the game is like how sensitive the controls are. Like my reticle was flying all over the screen until I adjusted it. And then like shooting to the rhythm doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that it's just not that interesting of a shooter.
Well,
like the enemies aren't that interesting.
Too.
Yeah, like I don't know, and it's got rogue elements, which like even further put it down the list. And I don't know, that game just was not doing it for me. Atom, ATOM RPG.
Old school Fallout.
Yeah, it definitely old school Fallout, like having to press like 4 buttons to shoot somebody. And it's just, it looks good, it runs great. I'm sure that there's a lot to it, but I don't know. Ember, the console edition, that is like a really... How do I describe this? You ever play those games that you just know, like they have like a certain feel to them, like those point and click games? I don't know.
Is that the? It was a mobile RPG. Is that the same Ember?
It might be. It's like a Diablo clone.
Yeah, almost like a combination of that and Baldur's Gate a little bit, I think.
Yeah, like
okay.
Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just uninspired.
No, I mean it was the only game of its type on mobile for a while, so I'm sure it got a little status boost because of that, even if it wasn't that great.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfectly serviceable. You walk around, you kill enemies, pick up loot, put it on, that kind of deal. I don't know. It just really felt uninspired while I was playing it. I really wanted to talk about Back for Blood. I got early access to Back for Blood. I went into the game, I was sitting down to play Saturday night. My wife and I were going to play together because we've been, playing games together. And like, I don't know if you played Back for Blood yet, but it's got like this little hub area where like you do your stuff and you prepare for missions. And it crashed 3 times in that hub before we even got into a game.
Quality.
So we just shut it off. We're like, you know what? We'll come back when they fix this patch. I do hope they have it fixed before next week because that thing launches into Game Pass this week. And if, all these people get in there and it starts crashing, what's the old phrase? You never get a second chance. Like, people are just going to delete it and not come back to it. So that's some shit you want worked out. And then last thing to talk about before we get into Metroid, I played a ton of Far Cry. I wrote my review for Far Cry. I really liked Far Cry. Far Cry 6 is not going to... That's been the, dialogue this week, is, reviewers, ripping into Far Cry, being like, you know what, I just can't play this shit anymore. And I was like, you know what, if you don't like a game, that's fine. But what is the purpose of an article of saying, I don't want to play this shit anymore? Like, I don't understand how that benefits. Like, even in the review, I played for 5 hours, I turned it off. That's not a fucking review. That's just you being. Well, it's just you being tired of that,
Which is okay.
That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with you saying I don't want to play this anymore because Far Cry 6 is Far Cry. It's fucking a template at this point.
Yeah.
And you know what you're getting.
And Ubisoft will either keep doing it or change, like they did with Assassin's Creed.
Far Cry 5 was the best-selling Far Cry of all time, so why wouldn't you just go back? You really gonna tell me the Souls games are really that different? You gonna tell me
no, they're not Bloodborne, sure, but
it's still the same concept. Go collect things, level up, fight really hard bosses. So many of these things are the same, and they're the same because the people that play them enjoy the shit out of that. And there's a shitload of people that enjoy the Far Cry formula. And that's what this is. It's the Far Cry formula. And it's beautiful, looks amazing on next-gen consoles, runs at 60 frames a second, barely ever drops. I mean, I had fun running around blowing shit up, but yeah, it's the same thing. Go through the map, take out these spots, do these jobs for people. It's good shit. But if you're tired of it, this ain't gonna change it. So I don't know. I just thought it was funny discourse this week. It's like, yeah, if you don't like it, that's cool. But writing an article where I played 2 hours of the game and being like, I just can't do this shit anymore. Like somebody's torturing you with playing Far Cry. Oh no, you had to play a video game. And it's like, well, okay. If you don't like it, don't play it. It's fine.
I mean, some of those reviewers probably didn't want to play it, but
well then, yeah, that's just not I have no patience whatsoever for reviewers who are babies about reviewing stuff.
For sure.
I don't have the patience.
But you know what I mean? Everybody has their, I'm going to just turn off my brain for a couple minutes, play the game type of thing.
Yeah.
Biomutant's kind of that for me.
Biomutant is very much like the most mediocre good time.
It is I'm going to collect things and I'm going to shoot stuff and and it's like Far Cry is very much that. And if that is not your thing that you turn your brain off too. Like, yeah, you're probably gonna have a bad time. And it's the same with like, yeah, I don't like Marvel movies. I'm not gonna. But if you ask me to review them, I'm not gonna be like, oh, fucking another Marvel movie. I'd be like, yeah,
I got 30 minutes into this movie and I just can't do this shit anymore.
yeah.
Oh,
The only time that'd be acceptable is if they keep like whatever your employer is keeps putting you through like the garbage of garbage tiered DreamWorks films, like Boss Baby 17 or something. And you're like, I can't. I've done 16 Boss Babies. I can't do this.
you know what's funny about this?
I
Is
feel like that's a whole. Your life is coming around, crashing down around you, realizing, oh, this is not what I want to do anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And what's funny about it is like the people that are writing the Far Cry reviews everybody's complaining about, they get paid to do this, right? That's like their job. Like, we review games on the site. It's not our jobs.
No.
Like, sometimes we'll get stuck with a game that we don't necessarily really care for. Like, I had to review NBA this year. That ain't my jam. But I kind of had to go through...
NBA Jam.
Sorry, NBA 2K. My bad. NBA Jam is totally
it's
my
funny
jam.
because you said, yeah.
But like I'm playing through it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this like street ball, like RPG mode. Like this is the dumbest shit I've ever done. But like I played through it and I was like, okay, I can see where people will dig this. It ain't
Like,
it ain't for me, but I see it.
Everybody's got shit at their job that they don't like.
Yeah.
Like, that's
You
what
just
makes it a
fucking do
job.
I can imagine going to my job and like somebody sends me for the 5th time this month I got to do this report. I'm like, I just reply back an email. I was like, I can't do this shit anymore.
I can't do this shit anymore. Oh, another project to manage. I can't do this shit anymore.
I can't do this shit anymore. You know what? Fuck you. Send this back to the client. Fuck you. It's the same shit as last month. Leave me alone. Oh man, I wish I could do that at my job.
Like, I don't know. There's a difference between, man, this game isn't very good, or I'm not feeling this game at all, and putting that in your review. Whatever, that's great. It's your review. That's the point of it,
100%.
right? But to just be like, oh, I'm so bored with this genre. Like, okay. Well, there are people out there who aren't bored with the genre, so how about you talk about how the game fits in it?
Yeah.
You can make, you want to say as a sentence that I'm bored with the genre, that's fine. But you still got to at least review what the content of the game is for the people that are playing it that aren't bored with the genre.
I mean, think about like Far Cry. As much as I understand samey and Assassin's Creed got samey, none of those games are like the. You know, for a while they're like. Tell me the difference between the two Medal of Honor games on PS3.
There were two?
In comparison. Yeah, exactly.
I legitimately did not know there were two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a different thing.
But you know what I mean, though. Like,
yeah.
there's. You can tell me the difference between. Like, they're not just recycling. I can understand if you got to, like, Assassin's Creed Revelations, which was, you know, part of the Ezio trilogy, and you're like, I fucking can't do this anymore. Right? But the fatigue hadn't set in yet. It was 3 that the fatigue set in. But if you said, it's more of the same, like, I know what you're trying to say, but it isn't identical. It's, like, clearly work has gone into this.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just like I can think of other franchises, Earth Defense Force, but even the Earth Defense Force, I can't look at the newest one and go, it's the same as the last one. It's like, yeah, it's very samey, but like it's also does new things.
So God love everybody that has an opportunity to do this for a living, but this is the problem, I think, with professional criticism. Professional criticism might be the wrong way to put it. A class of professional critics is that the stuff that they get hung up on or tired of is not the same thing. Your average gamer that's reading reviews to determine whether or not they should buy a game isn't playing 50 games a year. And so I think sometimes it's easy for people whose job it is to be critical of games to be a little bit jaded on stuff because they do have to play so much and they do have to do it in such a short amount of time. But it's like that's not that's not the same experience that the end user is going to have. And sometimes I think it's hard to disconnect from I think it's hard to bridge sometimes that disconnect between someone whose job 40 hours a week is reviewing video games to someone who might play 4 AAA games a year.
Yeah. It goes back to that comment that everybody thinks reviewing video games is like a plush job where you just sit around and play fucking video. That shit sucks. Like if your job is that I have to crank out this 40-hour game in, a few days and then write a review and I don't even like the genre, that shit sucks. But that's why it's called a job.
Right.
Like you decided you wanted to do that as a job, so do that. Like we don't do that as a job. We do it for fun.
Well, yeah, and that's what I think what I'm saying with the disconnect is like what you're taking is something that other people, and I see this not just with video games, but like with other entertainment media, particularly professional wrestling. You're taking what other people do as entertainment to escape from their jobs, but now it's your job.
Yeah.
And so there's a fundamental disconnect there that I think sometimes creates issues where things are rated the way the professional reviewer sees it. And that's why you have a lot of, I think, dissonance a lot of times between professional reviews and user reviews. Because, again, what for me is my leisure time and just an enjoyable activity that I can relax away from my job with is this person's job. And they have a deadline and they have a time frame they have to beat it by. Assassin's Creed, I think, is a great example. I love all those games. And I put 120 hours in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I did it over the course of 4 months, right? I didn't have to put 120 hours in it over the course of a 40-hour week. So, like, I don't know. I just think that's I just don't know how you bridge that gap between what you do for a living is judging what other people do for entertainment.
Yeah, I agree.
Work becomes unentertaining. And so when your job is reviewing entertainment, it's going to bleed out after a while.
100%. I don't know. I enjoyed the hell out of Far Cry 6. I'm still running around that island doing crazy shit.
I
But
feel like there's also a weird group of people that go to Far Cry for some deep political message, and like the only one that had any of that sort of was Far Cry 2, and like even that wasn't like super deep.
the story in Far Cry 6 is, I mean, it's like everything else in the game. It's a template. You get this really bad dude, and you're joining a bunch of people to try to take him down. I know
That's all
that's
you need.
I mean, I know that's like simplifying it, but I mean that's the template. It's been that template since 3. You know?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
reason why the
well,
DLC for Far Cry 6 is the 3 villains from the last 3 games.
Yeah, but if they change that too much, then people would be like, oh, it's not Far Cry anymore. That's exactly what happened with Assassin's Creed at the beginning. When they first announced all the changes they were making to it, people got mad, even though they were tired of the old Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
They still got mad because the new one wasn't going to be Assassin's Creed anymore.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody. It's just not possible.
If you want to play something that's not Far Cry, maybe don't play Far Cry.
And I think my overall point with the disconnect between professional reviewers and non-professional reviewers is I feel like more and more the industry tends to give credibility and make adjustments based on what professional reviewers say, and their feedback isn't always what the fans of the series want or need to see. So I don't know. I think that's just problematic.
Yeah. If you like Far Cry, you're probably going to like Far Cry 6. I mean, that's...
I don't feel like that should be a what do you call it? a controversial statement. Like
No.
that's like saying if you like steak, you'll like steak at this place.
Yeah.
Sure, some steaks might be better, but it's still steak.
Yeah, and now Far Cry 6 is a big fat ass Far Cry steak. I mean, it's a huge game.
Far Cry steak.
I mean, but it's still a Far Cry steak. Anyway. Alright, Anthony, I am curious. You say you have opinions about this game. I want to know. Metroid Dread is out.
Yep.
Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me how you feel? Because I feel great.
Yeah, you're probably not as far as me.
I don't know. I've got. I don't want to spoil anything. Like, people are weird about Metroid. Like, they don't want the power spoiled.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there is a story to this one that is far more in depth than I thought it was going to be. I mean, let me rephrase that. It takes a lot of cues from Fusion in terms of its storytelling, but I thought it was going to be a lot like Fusion, in which you are just all the dialogue is with like a computer screen. And that is not the case. There's a cutscene that happens where there is dialogue. Have you gotten there, Ken?
Are you talking about where the thing talks to you?
Yes.
I mean, I've done that. I'm on the third area.
Okay, well, you are behind me then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I have, on my map, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, I'm on the third area. I just got I went back and got the ball. Because that's in the second area. The third area is the spread.
Yeah.
So I went I went back with the spread and got the ball, and I found the big boss down at the bottom of the lava in the first area, and I
know who you're talking about.
I did not beat that. Like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Oh, I also have the suit. So obviously I have the suit that lets me go down into that area. So
yeah. So this is kind of my issue with this game, and somebody asked me if it was hard, and I'm going to say it's not a hard video game. It is a punishing video game, and the reason why I say that is because like I feel like hard is a statement on difficulty, like how hard is this game to play, and to me, Metroid Dread is very easy to play. That it is not necessarily challenging, it just beats the shit out of you. And it's not always fun. Dark Souls is hard, and I understand if you say, well, is Dark Souls punishing? The reason why I bring up Dark Souls is because everybody seems to bring up Dark Souls, but it's like Dark Souls, it's like it punishes you if you do something stupid, right? And yes, there is some difficulty to it, but it's not like in the learning, but it's like you can learn how to play that game. Like, there is a difficulty curve. In Metroid Dread, it is like I don't know what the learning curve is of it, because it just seems to just say fuck you at times.
One specific thing in each area. Is that what you're referring to?
So let's talk about the Emmys first and foremost. The Emmys are the robot things that you've seen in the ads, and they do a really smart thing. Very early on, spoilers, people. Like, when I say very early on, I mean this is literally the first time you run into the robot. I think it's the fourth or fifth area that you enter, like in terms of map parts. It is missing an arm, so it can't crawl after you, but it can kill you, and it kills you instantly.
Yeah, it's one hit kill.
You have two very brief opportunities to counter and escape. I have still not managed to understand how the timing. I feel like it changes every time. There's no way to learn exactly when that claw is going to flash.
Have you ever successfully done it?
Oh, multiple times.
I've never done it yet. Every time I get caught, I'm just dead.
So there's the one on the claw when it reaches back. That is the easier of the two. And then the second one, it is extremely brief. Like you have it is very low chance that you counter out of that. And when you counter them, you stun them, and you can slide underneath their legs and move past them.
But they still chase you.
They're stunned for a little bit, but yes, they still chase you. And there's only one way to defeat them, and you have to absorb power, and then.
God, that is so satisfying when I find that brain, though. Every single time I find it, I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
How many of these have you defeated?
3.
I'm missing. I think I have 1 left.
There's 7 total, right? 6 or 7. Well, he says it. He tells you how many there are.
I don't remember how many there are. But
when he told me he said there were 6, and I'd already killed 1, and I killed 2 more after that.
They have some of your powers. Like they can do things that Samus can do. And my biggest issue is that they become more and more unfair. The first couple I'm like, "Oh, this is kind of like fine." Like they allow you to figure out how you want to avoid them. But later on, it's like clearly there's only one path that you can use to make it out. And the timing gets so tight, and it's not really a stealth section, which is kind of what I hoped it would be. It's kind of a terrible parkour section.
Yeah, if you make a wrong turn, you're kind of screwed.
And there's one that has water in it. And I'm just like... So it just kept... And like you have to go back and forth through this fucking area.
Yeah, that area is like hell mode for me anytime that I don't have
And this game is terrible at telling you where you need to go next.
Oh, 100%. That is my biggest complaint so far. There have been times where I'm like, well, am I supposed to go back to the first area to get something? Or am I supposed to go forward in this area? Like, it's confusing.
And so, like... And the boss enemies and just end up being these fucking... So, okay, back to the enemies. So, you have to keep going through these same areas. And as you get further and further into the game, the enemies are harder and harder to fight. And it's just like, okay, fine. You just suck it up. You're like, I'll be able to deal with this once I find the power up, right? Where you can actually attack them.
Yeah, and you get one shot.
After the first... Yeah, so have you gotten to the part where you have to break off their armor?
Yeah, where you have to, like, mash the button and then...
No, you don't mash. You just hold the button.
Well, I mean, the first one I thought you, like, mashed it. The second one you held it. Sorry, the third one. And you break their armor, and then I switched to the other side. Like, I jumped over them and then have to shoot them again. Because you have to charge that shot. You got to give yourself time.
Yes, so when you get this, the power-up for the gun... that is temporary. It is literally only used to fight these.
Yeah, once you get it, you use it to kill it, and then it's gone.
And then it's gone. The first couple, when you have to break off, the first 2 that you have to break the armor off, is fine. You have to basically your gun turns into a machine gun when you're in aim mode, and you have to aim at their face, and you slowly heat up their armor on their face, and it breaks off. And then you have to charge up a missile, like you have to charge up a shot, and then you shoot this extremely powerful energy ball at their head, and they die. The space that you need, though, later on, to be able to shoot them in the face and break their armor off, becomes like full rooms that they just don't give you the space. And as soon as you stop firing at them, like the armor cools down, and like you have to start from scratch again. You can't move and shoot. And that'd be fine if you're doing the charge up shot, but you're literally stuck in place as this gun. You're trying to heat up the armor to do the finishing blow. So you're not even killing them. You're literally just breaking the armor off, and it's this long sequence. And I had to just keep redoing this section over and over and over, and watching the death scene and seeing the game over screen and restarting. And there's nothing to learn. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's like,
You just have to
yo,
do.
you-
You just have to. It's kind of a trial and error. You just not trial and error, but
but it's not trial and error. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it's-
well, you
gotta
didn't hold
figure
the
out-
analog stick.
yeah, you got to figure out like your movement, your spacing, and like what's the best way
But
I can do this.
Here's the problem, Ken. In this one area, like, I had figured it out. I knew where to get it, but you have to manually aim that fucking laser.
Yeah,
And it's-
yeah.
And I'm sorry, but the control's just not good enough. If it just did a lock on and I just held down the button to break the armor off, I'd be way more pleased with that. And then have me do the final shot manually. You know what I mean? But there's no reason why. Like, it's already hard enough to figure out where I need to stand to have enough time to break the armor off. And I mean, like, it was like a minute of this thing walking towards me in the section I'm referring to. And it's just like, okay, so I got that done. But then now I have to figure out where I'm going to stand to charge up the missile to shoot it in the face, because it needs to stand upright before that can happen. And it's just, again, it's not really, I'm not learning anything. I'm not becoming better as a player for this. And I feel like that's a lot of the problem with this game, is it's like there's no learning at this. Like, a lot of people have said, like, why is there no difficulty options? I'm sorry, I don't know what you could do to have an option to make this easier other than just skip fight, which, hey, for accessibility reasons, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't take it myself because that would just irritate me.
Well,
That is the choice I have to make.
I think
like,
shortening
it's just,
the time that it takes to melt their armor and charge
Fine.
the shot
Yeah.
would probably be the best way to do it.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. So, but it's like, yeah, it's just like, so they're irritating. I know what boss you're on. That boss fight sucks.
Yeah, I got
really
smoked.
cool. But like, that's when when I bought this game, I bought the amiibo with it because screw it, I didn't know what they were gonna do. And the amiibo that came for Dread, it gives me it refilled my health and gave me another health tank. And that's another problem with this game. It is so bad at giving you upgrades. Like, they're just not paced well. So, like, yeah, you shouldn't probably have a ton of health tanks, but I feel like for where I am and how much area I've covered, like, I feel like they're just less health tanks overall. And then there's partial health tanks that you collect one of 4 pieces of, like, heart pieces.
Yeah, I found a couple of those.
Boss fights don't even bother using your standard gun. It doesn't work.
No,
like,
it
that's another
never
thing, like-
has. No.
In other Metroid games.
No, I mean
you
in
know,
this game.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like, so you have to switch to missiles the entire time.
Which
And
you
it's just
can't.
like-
I mean, it's you can,
Let me
but it
toggle
sucks.
it.
Yeah.
Let me toggle it, and you know what I mean? Like, it's all these weird accessibility things where I'm just like, why is there no lock-on aim that I can toggle for like, when I have to manually aim, right? Why can't I lock onto an enemy from there and then move back and forth? Because that's literally how most of the bosses have to do damage. It's like, oh, you have to aim at a certain spot, and to make it awkward, they're going to send stuff from another area, but because you have to manually aim, because it's not something you can naturally jump to, we're gonna make you move around a lot. And it's just like, I hated that in Death Stranding. Don't attack me from a different point. Like, don't screw with my view, sort of thing. Like, if you're gonna make me stand stationary, like, at least give me more space to move than, like, 2 inches to the left and 2 inches to the right. And it's just, like, I'm not trying to, like, shit on this game, but, like, when this game is good, it's great. And then it just... I'm getting more and more frustrated as I go along. Especially because I keep doing a ton of backtracking, because so when it came to Zero Mission and it came to Fusion and even Samus Returns, it would kind of point you where you need to go to next. And Dread doesn't do that.
No, it
At all.
never even gives you... The only thing it gives you is, like, the areas where there's a hidden item, it'll blink.
Wow. So you can get 2 more missiles.
Yeah, I've got so many... Like, I've found so many missile upgrades, it's ridiculous, but energy tanks, I have 1 extra.
That's my problem. Like, you have to use missiles, so they give you a bunch, but then they don't give you enough energy, and the bosses take so much that, like, one of them, I swear to God, I took 3 hits and was dead. It shouldn't... Outside of the first Metroid game, which is difficult because it really hadn't found its footing yet, I would say that none of the Metroid games are hard. There's a hard mode usually that you can unlock in different ways, but, like, none of the games are, like, hard. There are challenging moments, obviously, as you go through, but none of them are so frustrating that I want to, like, I'm actually going, like, what the fuck what am I supposed to fucking do? It's never that much, and unfortunately, I don't know why this game is in this position.
Yeah, I've spent... I think I'm at, like, 3 hours that I've played so far, and there've
7
been...
for me.
You know, and there's been so many times where I'm like, well, what do I do now? Like, I just got this new power, I can go back to these old areas and collect stuff, but I think I'm supposed to constantly be going forward. Like, even... just to give an example of how hard it is to tell where you're supposed to go. So when you get to the second area, your instinct is to go right. If you go right, you can't progress. You have to go left first.
Yeah, and then and just because, like, this thing needs to be a clusterfuck, you don't just move through areas naturally. You have to use teleporters.
Yeah.
And it just it complicates things even more than it needs to be. Like, think about a teleporter in other games. I'm going to use a great example, Symphony of the Night. It is a way to fast travel to other parts of the castle. Yeah, you're still going to have to go through other rooms, but hey, it's an easy way to fast travel. No, not these teleporters, though. These teleporters in Dread only go from, like, the red teleporter goes to the red teleporter. That is it.
And it's
it's
usually
like...
in an area that you can't access unless you take the teleporter.
Yeah, until later.
Yeah,
and
until
it's
later
just,
on.
like...
But at first, when you hit it, like, you just have to go back through the teleporter because there's no way to get out of the area that you're in.
Yeah, and it's like, because of all the flashing, and it marks every so it does this auto map thing that I do appreciate, where it, like, oh, you can see the missile upgrade, but you can't get it yet, but don't worry, it's marked it on your map.
Yeah.
Neat.
And when you hover over
Those
it, it
marks...
tells you whether or not you've got it.
But that's my problem. Just remove it once I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't need it to be there if I've already got it.
You know, or let me turn them off. So, because it just clutters the map. So I'm, like, looking for doors I can open with a new power-up, because obviously they mark them by colors. I can't see them because this room is flashing, and then there's fucking a missile upgrade or whatever right near the door. And I'm just like... I think my biggest... Like, the reason why I'm so upset is because this game is so close to being really good, like, really, really good, that, like, these shortcomings feel even worse. Like, they are annoying in general. The Emmys especially, but, like, it's just, like, I don't know what they were thinking when they did it. I like, was this an oversight? I don't know. It's frustrating. Like, I shouldn't be feeling more frustrated as I go through a game. Like, especially as I'm getting more powerful, right? Like, yeah, sure, the challenge should ramp to meet my abilities, and in ways it does. Um, but it's just like fucking hell. Like the having to, and yeah, I think a lot of it could be solved with just telling me where the fuck to go next.
Yeah,
And here's
I think that would help a lot.
and the computer talks to you, and it's like you need to look up for this upgrade, and then stops talking to you, and you're like, there's this built-in place where you should be able to get hints at any time because you return to the computer rooms.
Yeah, I've
And if
I've
you do,
I've googled way too much already. Being early in, of like, what am I supposed to do now?
well, you got stuck. So you got stuck in the same room I did at first, where it's like, yeah, some blocks are destructible, and you're like, I can't get back out. And it's like in the top left-hand corner of this small little alcove that you're stuck in. It shouldn't be that difficult. Like, none of these games have been this obtuse. Like, why is this one? Like, even the game the Mercury Steam made before wasn't this obtuse.
Yeah, I really don't know why. Like the blocks that you can break, like they have absolutely no differentiation from the rest of the blocks. So a lot of times when I'm running through rooms, I'm just shooting every wall and every floor.
There is a power-up you get that will show you them.
That's cool. I
think
haven't
it's
got that
optional.
yet. It'd be good to get that early.
I think that's optional, though. Well, here's the problem. I got it. I'm like, well, clearly I need this because I don't know how to progress. No, it was just totally something else where because I couldn't figure out how to get past a certain area, which, to be fair, my fault, fine. But it's like, because I couldn't figure out what I'm supposed to do in an area, I was like, well, clearly this is locked off right now. Because it doesn't tell me where to go. If it was like, you need to go here, and I'm like, clearly I have all the powers that I need to access this area, I would have just done it. Like, again, this game isn't that hard. It's literally just, like, frustrating. The whole thing is frustrating. Don't show me the game over screen if you're going to reload me outside the Emmy encounter or the boss encounter. Don't show me, or if you're going to show me game over, just auto load. Don't make me fucking, sit there. Just have that be the load screen to bring me back. No, you have to confirm, and then loads back. And it's just like, I shouldn't have to use the amiibo to refill my health during a boss fight.
Yeah, I don't have that
It is
option, so...
It uses any Metroid amiibo.
I think I
To
have
refill.
one.
So any of the Samus ones refill your health.
I mean, do I? So I have to go into my closet and dig out amiibos.
Well,
refill my
they
health.
don't give you. They don't give you. I have. Here's the amount of health I have. I have 8 extra,
Huh, I have 2.
and one of those is from amiibo, so I have 7 extra.
Oh, like was that a permanent upgrade if you scan the amiibo?
Yes.
Well, fuck,
So if
I
you
might
have the
dig that
Metroid-
thing out. I'm gonna dig that thing out.
No, yours doesn't have that. You only. This is how fucky they get. Only the one from Dread.
Oh,
Only
well, no,
the
I don't
Samus
have that
from
one.
Dread gives you the bonus tank. However, once per day you can use any other Samus amiibo to refill your health.
Fuck you.
And the boss, hold on, and the boss you're on, I had to use 2 amiibos.
Fuck you, Nintendo.
It's just like, I've not felt this way about a video game in a long time. Like, really frustrated. I don't even feel. I bounced off of Dark Souls because I was just not having like as much fun as I feel like I should be with a video game. But I never was like, this is frustrating. I went, yeah. There's a difficulty curve, and I'm just not willing to put in the time. That's I think a fair statement to make. I'm not going to spend my time this way because I'm not having fun. But I totally understand how other people do. To me, though, there's nothing to learn from Metroid Dread. It's just, fuck you, you didn't, do the thing right. But, it's not giving me any benefit when I do, other than just being able to see the next area, because it's still not giving me any direction. I could totally be in the wrong spot. And, they'll send in... God. Later on, there's, an area where they sent in... I'm going to call it a mini-boss, because I don't have another term for it. They I went through one way, fought an enemy, came back later. A different enemy showed up in the same area. I was like, clearly I'm supposed to go this way. Exited, realized, oh, wait, this is the area I've been in before. And now every time I enter that new area, the original enemy's back. But I was supposed to come out the door that, like, I don't know. Like, clearly I was going the right way because something different happened, but, like, I shouldn't have to figure out where to go to next. Like, right now I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck. I have a new power, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's in one of the old areas, and I went and used it, and I collected a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, I have no idea where to put this into actual use to move forward, because no one will tell me. Everybody just gives me vague, this is the thing you need to do. It's like every character in this game that talks to you goes, you need to complete the game to complete the game. Thanks. I don't, that means nothing to me. I should like this game more, is my biggest complaint.
I think it hurts, to kind of go back to your point, I think it hurts even more because when this game hits, it hits really fucking hard.
Like the first Emmy encounters were great. Even though they were punishing, I felt like there was enough flexibility in those areas to have some sort of strategy. Especially with the power that they give you kind of early on to deal with them. I was like, okay, all right. So this is going to come into use. But the latter few are so powerful and have so much nonsense attached to them that I'm like, well, odds are now not even remotely in my favor of surviving. And like, really, there's only one strategy, clearly, because anything else doesn't work. And like, at that point, like, just play the game for me. Because like, you didn't teach me that this was going to be like, you have one way to deal with this problem. This, I go back to it. This game should be better. Like, and I really don't know how to fix it other than like really going back to the drawing table. Like, other than the thing that you mentioned with the it should take less time to power up the shot, and like, that still doesn't solve everything. And it's like stuff that's been fixed in the Metroid series. I'm not asking for stuff from other like Metroid-like games. This is shit that was in Fusion. And I want to know what happens in the story. Like, I'm a nerd for Metroid. I love it. But, like, this is not the game to follow up Fusion or even Samus Returns. Samus Returns gets difficult. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that game's a cakewalk either. But it's like, this is a lot of wandering around and just beating the shit out of me because I don't know what to do and the game won't tell me.
It's also sad that this is the first Metroid proper game we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah.
And like, I keep going back to it. Like, I definitely, like, I feel like I have ebbs and flows with this game. So there'll be times where I just don't want to play this game at all. Because, number one, like you said, it's not telling me, it's not even giving me, like, a hint of where to go. Like, I have no idea what to do next. And then there'll be times where I'll stumble into what I'm supposed to do, and I get on a roll, and I'm like, oh my god, this feels great. This is what I want. And then all of a sudden I'll go back to another moment of like, what?
That brick wall.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I literally have spent like 20 minutes running back and forth. Like, there was a part where I wanted to get back to the left side of the first area, and every single spot was blocked. There's 4 ways back over there, and I couldn't go through any of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was for the ball. I didn't have the ball yet. Another one was for a wall that I couldn't break. Another one was for the ball again. And I was like, I can't go. What am I supposed to do? Turns out there was a little piece of floor that I could shoot to drop down. And I had no idea that I could do that.
Yeah. Again, like, going like to talk positively about this game. Straight up, I couldn't do shine sparking in the other games. I didn't understand it. I wasn't sure. I was like, I have no idea how to grasp that. Like, it felt more like I would do it by accident rather than on purpose. Like, the speed booster in Zero Mission and Fusion, I think it's in both of them, felt a lot faster than the one in this game. It's there, everybody, but I have to bring it up because shine sparking. This game teaches you how to shine spark and gives you like way bigger opportunity to nail it because it's kind of necessary, although not super necessary. It's needed though, to like really bypass certain areas. And like it felt good. It felt good to be like, okay, I'm becoming better as a player. But then there's this like jump ability later on, and like the timing of it still feels off at times. Like I feel like it's just not there. And I'm like, I need this to progress, but like it was so frustrating, and I'm like, otherwise I'm stuck in this loop. So I'm like, I feel like I'm doing it right. Yeah, I just couldn't. I was off by like a second or whatever, and it's just
Yeah. It sucks because when this game hits, it hits hard. But when it frustrates just as hard.
the story. So there's a story segment like wherever I am in the game. There was a story segment. I met with someone, and they kind of gave me what is going on, and I went, I'm fucking in. Like I was like, this is a great concept, and I love it, and I want to know. I want to know what the fuck is going on now. Like I want the whole backstory of how this has come to be, and I don't know. Like I'm gonna finish it, but I'm at 7 hours, and it's like I'm gonna say a good portion of that is me wandering around.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like that's not okay. Not for a game that really isn't that big. Like I'm not going for 100%, although I might end up there because of just sheer incompetence of like the map
You
design.
keep stumbling into things because you're looking for a way to progress forward.
Yeah. I feel shitty for like really kind of shitting on this game. Because again, like it's Metroid. I love the series. Like, is it the worst game ever? No, not by a long shot. But like, some of this shit's just not okay. Like, it just isn't. Like, I don't like the fact that like, if without the amiibo, I feel like I would have been at a big detriment. That sucks. Like that just straight up sucks. That without amiibo, I probably would have been screwed on a boss fight because it just was too much shit to juggle
Awesome,
consistently.
because I don't have that amiibo and I'm not buying it, so that's awesome.
Yeah. I've not looked up a walkthrough. I might have to at this point. Because I'm just tired of wandering around in circles. I love like positives. The music's been great. The story so far is really cool. I like some of the new powers. I love the backgrounds.
Yeah, it's a sharp looking game.
Some of them change later on. I won't say how, but something happens and like things change, and I'm like, that is neat because it feels like it's a living world. It gives me some. There's one area where when I first showed up, I was like, okay, love this area. Like I love the design of like this is very different. And just the small little animations of the background and everything. I'm like, this is a real world that I'm in, which is not something I can say about every 2D Metroid. Like, you know, some of them do feel like it is a flat place. And somehow this game doesn't feel like that, even though, you know, I move on a 2D surface. You know, there is that satisfying when you defeat an enemy, it feels satisfying because they're a pain in the ass. And it's got one of the coolest endings to a boss fight You've seen it, Ken. The first creature you fight.
The first creature.
Nothing.
What are you referring to?
It has a scorpion tail thing.
Oh yeah.
The ending to that fight, I was just like, oh yeah, they really understand this character.
One of the things I loved was that boss that you go down in the lava. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The way that fight starts is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Like the way she reacts to that is just incredible. It's like it's like she's nodding at the camera, going, "You know who I am."
Yeah, and and that's the thing. Like, this is probably the best portrayal of Samus in a video game. Like, just it is every badass like moment. Like, it's all earned too. I love it, but it's just those fucking downsides that like beat the shit out of me. Like I want to love you. Let me love you.
Yeah,
I got okay. Sorry.
I think what's gonna really bother me is like, will Nintendo make these changes? They've been better about making changes recently, but will they make any changes to this? I don't know.
I would be. I'll be surprised if they do, to be honest. But I think I'd feel better if there was like, if I was just having an issue with the parry system. I'd have a different sort of take on this. But I've pretty much nailed that with everybody. The Emmy's just the split second window. Like I can usually get if I can get it, I can get it on the first one usually. But like the second one is like random chance almost. But it's just like, I don't feel like I'm being challenged. I just feel like it is just like, fuck you, you're gonna lose here, and it's like not fun. I did get the special edition, which I didn't know existed until I went to pick up my copy. And like he'd put me down for it because I was the first person to put my pre-order in for that and the amiibo. And I will say this: it is an extremely nice box set. It's got a big hardcover book that I haven't unwrapped from the plastic because I don't want it spoiled, and some cards. But I think the neatest part is like, so you pulled out your little tray that has your steel book and the cards that are for the other mainline Metroid games or whatever. But they've embossed the cardboard with like the silhouettes of the Emmys. And I was like, that's a nice little touch that I didn't expect. Don't know why that we didn't get the same as the European edition, where like you also get just a standard Switch case for the game. But it's like clearly they gave a shit. That's my point. Just I'm confused and torn. Those were my opinions. We've talked about this long enough, I think. Otherwise, I'll just end up in circles. Like the game.
I hope that I have a better experience going forward than you, but I doubt that I will because, like I said, even now, as early on as I am, which I was hearing on the internet, it was a 7-hour game. I thought I was halfway through. I'm like, who beat this in 7 hours?
7 hours, yeah. Maybe without wandering, or they were given a guide to be like, here you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd have to have a guide because my ass has been wandering all over the place. So... But yeah, I'm going to keep playing it. I'm reviewing it. And I've definitely had ups and downs even in this early going. So, all right, let's move.
Natalie and Brulia's playing in my head.
All right. Let's
Can't you see I'm torn?
Let's move on to what's out this week. Back for Blood, dropping Game Pass. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, regular. So that version that I'm playing was the one that you could get last week if you paid like the obscene amount of money to get it early. So the full game drops for everybody this week. NHL 22 also has an early access, so it's out on the 12th for the X Factor edition. And then the full version is out on the 15th, which is Friday. So that is a 3-day early access window. We've got Caddy and Batty, The Spirit Guide. That new Sega anime RPG action game, whatever, the Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles is out this week. The Rift Breaker. This is PS5 and Series X games right now. PS5, all the same stuff. So there's your next gen releases for the week. Let's roll over to PS4 and Xbox One. We've got a lot of the same stuff in Gear Shifters, Monster Crown, Xuan Yuan, Sword 7, Arcade Archives, Rally X, Doctor Who, The Edge of Reality, Dungeon Encounters, Godstrike, Hunt Down, I'm assuming that's like a physical version of that game, Jackbox Party Pack 8, the Crisis Remastered Trilogy, Grey Lancer, and The Good Life, which is the new Sweary game, is also coming to Game Pass as well. So.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. And then Xbox, is there anything different? Ring of Pain, Murder House, Ancient Stories, Gods of Egypt. And that's all the same. So let's bounce over to the Switch, because the Switch has all the games. We've got Disco Elysium, The Final Cut, Gang Beasts, Golf with Your Friends, Overcooked. There's a bunch of these games called Code in a Box, which I'm assuming is a physical release with a code. It's okay. Escapist 2 is a code in a box. We've got Critadel, Immortus Temporis. That sounds like an important game. Lumione, Starlight Alliance, A Little Golf Journey, Aeon Must Die, which is that Focus game with the really cool artwork with the bad developer stuff. You remember that? Like the developer.
Man, I can't remember what bad developer story is what anymore.
Like they stole the code or something, or.
Oh yeah.
That's that game.
Yeah, that game.
Yep, it's out this week. Aliens Drive Me Crazy. That sounds like an 80s movie, doesn't it? With like Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum. All right.
You're on your own there, yeah, sorry.
Bonito Days. Evil.
Bonito?
Casa Bonita.
I know. I know what it is.
Evil Tonight, Fight of Animals Arena, Henchman Story, Hextones, Inspector Waffles, Mona Moore, Nira, Red Ronin, Ruin Raiders, Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero, Tears of Avia, The Sundew. Oh, here we go.
But the moon don't.
Waifu Discovered 2, Medieval Fantasy.
Aw, shit.
Yeah, part 2, baby. Zoomania, Magic Casual Puzzle. I think Wombat fell asleep listening to us talk about Metroid.
I don't blame him.
What's that?
That's what? What? Sorry. Well, they've been here the whole time. The whole time.
I'm surprised you get excited. Waifu 2, Waifu Discover 2 is coming out.
No, that's John's
Woke me
thing.
up. Yeah.
The Crisis Remastered Trilogy is coming to Switch, so I guess we've answered the question: is can it run Crisis? Apparently, it can. Puzzle 9, Wild and Horror Pinball, and all right, I'm gonna try to say this, but this is pretty funny. Ultimate Chicken Horse Anniversary Edition. You like that? What's the name of that version?
Yeah.
You like that? That's fine.
It's fine. I mean, I don't know. I really like the more dumb ones, like War Mastered. Like, really, you're gonna stretch that far?
The THQ Nordic seems to have the best ones.
Remastered.
That sounds like you're
Gary,
like having trouble saying the word or something. All right, I got a bullet point list of news. You ready to roll on the news?
Sure.
Xbox is making another controller.
Of course they are.
It's the 20th anniversary controller. It's got like the green highlights. It also comes with an exclusive background theme for your Series X, which you can only get when you buy this controller. I had this controller in my cart, and then I realized I didn't need to spend $70 on something I already have 7 of.
Holy shit. Is it... It's not even an Elite then.
No. It's just
Fucking hell.
yeah. Like regular standard controllers are 60, and then like some of the special edition ones they drop for like 70. So EA is dropping the FIFA name.
Not surprised.
I mean, it's just weird though, right?
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to be relayed to FIFA anymore.
Mm.
I mean, it would be weird. It is weird. Don't get me
It's
wrong.
the biggest game series on the planet. You're going to change the name? That'd be like changing Final Fantasy 17 to not Final Fantasy.
They don't if they. Yeah, but they don't own the FIFA name, right? So like they just own the license to FIFA.
Yeah, I believe so.
So it would probably mean that they don't have to pay FIFA. Because right now I think they have to pay FIFA and the players for their likeness.
What about FIFA Faux Fum?
Well, Giants are a different sport, Ken.
That's true, they're football.
Or baseball.
Yeah, that's right, there is a baseball team called the Giants. Oh no, this joke didn't work.
No, it fell flat. There's just like silence in this room. The energy's gone. I complained about Metroid too long. Oh, jeez, this whole podcast has gone to shit. All right, let's wrap it up.
Square has started selling XP boosters for Marvel's Avengers after adding the game to Game Pass.
After they said they wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's almost like that game is shit.
Yeah, that game saw a huge boost going into Game Pass too, so...
My kid downloaded it because he wanted to play it because his friends were talking about it.
I mean, how did you have the space for that thing?
I've got a 4 terabyte.
But is it? But he's not playing it on the Series though, is he?
No.
I was gonna say because it takes up like a quarter of the Series X hard drive. I think it's like 130 gigs or something.
Yeah, no, he's playing it on the old Xbox One.
Gotcha. Eidos Montreal is shifting to a 4-day work week. Do you think this is going to become like a normal thing?
Maybe.
4-day, 8-hour work days, and then 3 days off? I mean, I don't know if it's just me being old and having worked, like almost 30 years of my life. But like, that just sounds like a weekly vacation to me. I'm not saying I'm not down for it, but I don't know. Last of Us 2 is making its way to PlayStation Now. So if you subscribe to that, you can play Last of Us 2. Rockstar confirmed the GTA trilogy is coming later this year to Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, as well as PC and then mobile next year, I believe.
So they're doing the only logical thing and removing all old versions from sale.
Yeah, I mean, why would you want those when you can get the new ones?
Because what if the new ones suck?
I'm being facetious.
I know, but I'm like, honest statement, like, the new ones could be fucking broken.
They could be.
Just leave your old shit.
But you know Rockstar
really
has a history of doing that. They've removed older...
Yeah, but what a stupid thing. Instead of potentially having people just want to pay money for our stuff, what if we remove that option? Like,
I don't know. I mean, it's Rockstar. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
And they complain about fucking theft. You know what? Just make your shit available.
I mean, you're making simulators for stealing, and then you get mad because people steal your shit. The irony is thick.
Grand Theft Auto.
All right.
If they were selling cars, I feel like they would probably...
I mean, you don't just steal cars in GTA. You steal a lot of shit.
You steal a lot of stuff.
So,
Is there a question for people that are up on GTA lore who I am not? Do you steal software in any of them?
I think so. Ryan probably
Yeah,
better know.
yeah, definitely. I remember at least one mission where you do some hacking.
Oh, the fucking hypocrites then.
Yeah, see? Just like I said. Resident
I
Evil...
don't recall a mission where you steal video game software though.
I mean, that's in the GTA 6 when it never comes out.
GTA 6 at this point is just going to be a GTA Online expansion.
Yeah, I know, right? Sad, isn't it? Resident Evil 7 has hit Luigi Mansion numbers. 10 million. It's a lot of Resident Evil. Grounded's latest update is its biggest yet, and it's starting to bleed into some Obsidian stuff. They're actually adding RPG elements to the characters, which makes me more and more interested for when that freaking game finally goes 1.0.
If it ever goes 1.0.
You feel like it's not going to, right?
I don't know. I feel like there's a certain amount of the whole not finished, not 1.0 stuff that's been pretty popular the last couple of years.
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Tabs went 1.0. My son let me know.
I do know that. Yeah, my son was very excited about it. I don't know. I feel like there's a cynical part of me that feels like all that's a little bit scammy because it's like there's a lot of stuff you can get away with. You can sell a lot of copies, but you can still get away with a lot of stuff by being like, well, it's not final yet.
Yeah.
Like it's not 1.0 yet. So you can't expect it to be great.
Oh, my son was like, he couldn't sleep the night before the 1.0 update.
That was my son with the Terraria update.
Yeah.
He was so anticipating that. It was the most anticipated thing of the last several months for him.
Yeah, I sit there and I look at it like, man, for Tabs.
Yeah, what is that? Like, I know Terraria. That one.
Tabs
I have
is
no idea what you're
Tabs is
It's totally accurate battle simulator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah.
I do know that. Never mind.
It's an acronym. Yeah,
I'm just not up with the hip lingo.
He loves
kids today.
He loves that game. Like that's the only thing he plays. Seagate has announced. Well, they haven't announced, but I guess it's been leaked that there is a 512 gigabyte expansion card coming for the Xbox Series consoles. So, if you don't want to spend $200 for a 1 terabyte, you might be able to spend $100 and get a 512 gig. So,
if there's plug and play as they say they are, yeah. Well, then I don't see an issue.
Yep, you literally just plug it in, your games pop up. It's beautiful, beautiful. So Twitch got hacked. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. Yep.
And then
and all the amounts that people were making got released. Yep.
Boy, that made people mad, didn't it?
Yep.
Like
what was funny? So, well, go ahead and tell the story, and then I'll jump in afterwards.
I was just gonna, there's really nothing. I don't know much outside of just seeing like there was a big list that went out. It kind of showed the top streamers and then like what everybody makes, and people were really upset that the people streaming, like it started the conversation again about like, so this Twitch streamer is making $3 million a month or whatever and they don't pay royalties to like the game developers that are using their content to stream or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know that I have much of an opinion on that either way.
No, if your hustle works, work it.
Yeah, I don't feel like I don't feel like, I don't know, Twitch doesn't feel parasitic to the industry to me. It feels mutually beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, back to our professional review conversation earlier, I feel like there's been a lot more buzz come out of games because they were played a lot on Twitch than professional reviews.
Among Us was a huge one for that. That game came out,
Sure.
The reviews were kind of like meh, and then Twitch streamers started streaming, and that game became fucking huge.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the contract there is very similar to the professional review contract where it's like, we'll give you a copy of the game, you play it, and tell people what you think of it. So I don't know. That would be. I just don't. I don't necessarily agree with that they should be paying the game companies.
Well,
anyway.
to be fair, there are a lot of game companies that pay those streamers millions
For
of
sure.
dollars to stream a specific game.
Dream.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's advertising. It's
Mhm.
marketing dollars is what
Exactly.
it is. But but no, the point I was going to make is that there was I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a huge controversy. Controversy might be the wrong word. There was a lot of unhappiness among WWE wrestlers because for professional wrestlers, the professional wrestling communities and the video gaming communities overlap pretty considerably. I mean, you've got Xavier Woods, who's going to be a host on G4. A vast majority, well, I shouldn't say vast majority, a lot of relatively young for professional wrestling wrestlers are active on Twitch and have a lot of subscribers. And there was a big kerfluffle earlier this year because the WWE basically told everybody on their roster, you can't have your own Twitch channel that you profit off unilaterally. That's we're taking control of your streaming content. And there were people who quit over it, legitimately quit over it. Now a couple of them have gone back, but it was a big deal, and there were a lot of people online that were like, why would somebody give up being a WWE wrestler on national television every week and all that over their Twitch streaming service? And then this data came out, and a couple of the folks who are at the top end are making $400,000 or $500,000 a year just from Twitch, which is more than they get from WWE. And it's like, well, yeah, that's why. Like, that's why they were so upset about it, because that's where it's a huge stream of money for them, and it was under their own control. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I hope that it buys some of those wrestlers some sympathy in terms of, not sympathy in terms of how much money they make, but sympathy in terms of why they would be so upset that the company was trying to take over their income stream. It also makes sense business-wise, not morally, but business-wise, why WWE was so interested in taking it over from them.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, WWE also thinks that they own the wrestler.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
for sure. Well, to the they do to an extent.
They
but
own the names. Yeah, I know.
They do, but they also work very hard to make sure that none of them are classified as employees, that they're classified as independent contractors.
Contractors, right?
Which
Couldn't remember
is
the terminology.
kind of bullshit when you think about how much they're doing to try to control those guys, which Andrew Yang, when he was running for president, called out WWE specifically and said, we're gonna task the every governmental department that we can to make sure that they're accurate in their classification of independent contractors. And if it's not accurate, then they've got to do all the things that they don't do today, like offer health insurance and all that stuff.
Very interesting.
I want to note that, like, out of the list, people were like, Critical Role makes so much, and I think people are upset because, like, they don't come off as indie anymore, but, like, it's a fucking production. What?
Yeah.
Like, those people are, like, it's not $1 million per person per year, you know what I mean? Like, it's
For the
it's
whole
like,
thing.
that's-
Yeah.
yeah, and, like, they're putting in production value, like, there's multiple people that work on it, like, you know, I can understand being, like, a little surprised and maybe a bit upset, even though, like, they get their money from donations, so don't blame the person that's, you know, doing the stream, blame the people that just hand over their money, I guess, but, like, you know, it's, like, Critical Role out of all the streamers is not the one you should be angry at, like, they put a ton of effort in, you know, they're all professional voice actors, like, this is, you know,
Work.
I think, yeah, like, that's, you know, the reason why you like them and not, like, just random D&D podcasts, that's why. Like, because they're professionals.
It's no different than any other entertainment medium, really. It feels different to folks in my generation and Ken's generation because it's so detached.
Yeah.
But it's not really any different than television. You know what I mean?
No.
Except it's more independent, which is good. I'm all about people being able to make money independently.
Yeah, like I said, if your hustle's working, do it.
Yep.
I'm not going to take that away from anybody. You worked hard for it. Some people are luckier than others that they get to do something they absolutely adore and they make a shitload of money from it. By all means, man, do it. Jealousy will get you nowhere. Now, let's move on to the next story. Yakuza developer Ryuga Gotoku, I know I say that wrong every time, has lost two members, Daisuke Sato and Toshihiro Nagoshi, who was the main person. And I know that
producer and director.
Yeah, and Nagoshi left for NetEase, which is a Chinese game company. And the studio put out like a memo saying, they're working on the sequel to Like a Dragon, and everybody's just saying everything will be good. But that's some big talent to hemorrhage, because Nagoshi had been at Sega for a long time. So I don't know. I love the Yakuza games, but yeah, I think it's a big loss. Konami has invited indie developers to work on old IP, and then I guess if it turns out well, they may actually put those games out. But I guess the bad side of this story is that I don't know that Konami is paying people to actually work on these until they put them out. So like, let's say an indie developer goes and makes something in the Contra universe, but they don't use it, then they just kind of lose the work there. So I don't think this is a great idea. I think gamers will get excited for it because they're like, oh, look, Konami's letting other people use their IP, but if they don't use it, then those games and that work is just gone. So, this was a weird one. I don't even know where to start with this. I don't know if anybody saw this as well, but apparently there's a new Sony remake coming, and this rumor popped out because there's this Irish singer who just finished like the lyrics for a song, and people are like rumor mongering that it is a Xenogears remake. It's supposed to be debuted in December. So, I don't know.
I'm not somebody who's played Xeno anything. Is Xenogears something that people should be excited about?
Yes. Xenogears is an incredible JRPG from the PS1 era.
Drew's already confirmed the remake for Phoenix Town.
Oh boy. I know that's been one of the things. Yeah.
I'm volunteering him. He's going to play the remake. Take him 17 years to finish.
All right. Randy Pitchford has stepped down as president of Gearbox Software, but he is still the CEO.
God, can he step down from just existing, please? I don't want to hear about him anymore. It's just every time he wants to be more famous than the games. Just put out the games.
What about the movie?
Stop rooting.
It's got Kevin Hart in it.
Can we not have the movie? Can we say we had the movie so we don't have to get the movie?
No.
Go
ahead.
What am I more upset about, the Mario movie or the Borderlands movie? The answer is the Mario movie, because I thought it stood a chance.
Wow. Some people data mined the Xbox store and found some new backwards compatible games. The rumor floating around this is that they are going to launch around the anniversary, which is November 15th. And the games that were data mined are, this is a weird list, so just bear with me. Dead or Alive 3, Dead or Alive Ultimate, Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers, Gladius, that's a deep cut.
Ow.
Gun Valkyrie, that would be cool. Chicken Little, I don't know what that one is. And then Wombat's favorite game of all time, Advent Rising.
Oh, no, it is not on the list.
Yeah, it's in the list.
Why?
Because that was a good game.
Who asked for that?
I did.
Him? And who cares about
Whoever has the license clearly is just willing to give it up.
Majesco, right?
Yeah.
Well, but Majesco doesn't exist anymore, so someone else owns the license.
It's got a
right.
Tommy
This
Tallarico
is-
soundtrack.
Card.
Did I just say that? Isn't this the game that could collapse them in hindsight?
It's certainly one of them.
I can't believe I said that. I was like, yeah, well, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Ziggurat owns them now.
Oh, okay.
Ziggurat's putting out the Blood Rain
Blood Rain.
revamped
Yeah.
on consoles this fall. Which I wish they would give me a fucking date for, because I want to replay those games.
Are you going to rewatch the movie?
Oh, which one? You know there's more than one.
I do, unfortunately, know there's
Yeah.
more than one. I haven't seen any of them, thankfully, so.
Yeah, I haven't either. But didn't the first one feature some big actress?
Yeah, it was,
Kristana Loken, right?
yeah. I think so, yes. Back when it still seemed like she was going to be a big deal.
Yeah, like she was a big deal then, and then she did Blood Rain, and well...
And, well, the Terminator movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Terminator movie?
The third one, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
is she
Terminator
the
3.
Lady Terminator?
Yeah.
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 That movie's not terrible, but like, it
I mean,
really just showed
Terminator is the franchise that just shits on its lore every other movie, so...
Yeah, like that's just it, right? Like, yeah.
Ed Boon is going to be at DC Fandom this month. Injustice 3? Maybe not. Because from what I hear, they're working straight on Mortal Kombat 12 because they don't know where they're going to be in a year.
I can't blame him.
Yeah. I think he's going to be there for the movie because there's a movie coming out for Injustice. So I think that's why he's there. I wouldn't expect an Injustice 3, although I would love an Injustice 3. Ghost Recon, there's a new one coming out called Frontline. It's a free-to-play battle royale. Did Ubisoft forget they already have 2 of these? They made Hyperscape.
I forgot they had 2 of those.
I
Yeah.
did too.
Hyperscape came out.
I'm trying to figure out what 2 you're talking about.
So Hyperscape was the first one. That one came out a while back, and everybody forgot about it. And just like a month or 2 ago, they announced that. Do you remember X Defiant?
No.
No, but that sounds like a PlayStation 1 game. Or
Yeah.
now a PlayStation 2 game.
Yep, they announced X Defiant about a month or 2 ago. And
I feel like I can see the cover for X Defiant right next to Orphan Scion of Sorcery.
yes. Orphan Scion of Sorcery is... Whoa. That's like
That's
the
most
Azaric.
PS2 game that I can think of.
That's the Azaric of the PS2 launch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Rise of Parathia. That's the game they should put on Back and Pat.
That game sucks. I was around. I didn't beat it myself, but I was around somebody that beat it.
It's like
and man, that sucked.
that's like the fucking Smurfs on steroids or something. That game was woo. I don't know who greenlit that game, but man,
Did it.
whew. Yeah, X Defiant. So if you want to play a Ghost Recon Battle Royale, you can go right the fuck ahead. I don't know if Ubisoft sometimes knows their audience. Like, they've been trying to do the Battle Royale thing, and it ain't worked yet.
Yeah, it hasn't worked. I'm waiting for an Assassin's Creed Battle Royale.
I mean, it's coming. There's going to
Maybe
be a
that's
one in
part
that...
of, the new one.
yeah,
the-
that Infinite or
Infinity,
whatever
right.
it's called.
Everything's got to be infinite or infinity now.
Well, isn't that the next Assassin's Creed? Isn't it like a hub?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I bet you there'll be a battle royale in there.
I'm sure there will be. They did have that really cool multiplayer there for a while. I can't remember which one that was in, where you had to. No, not that. No, is that the one where you had to, like, one person was an assassin and everybody had a target?
Yeah, that was Brotherhood.
Everyone had it. Everyone was an assassin, but you had a different everybody had a different player that was
Right. Yeah, is that
their
Brotherhood?
target. Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure that was Brotherhood
Yeah, I don't remember.
because it had an online pass. Remember those?
Yeah, it did, and that was the whole Brotherhood thing of it. Yeah, they pulled it into the story, but really they called it Brotherhood because they were going to do multiplayer. But I can't remember if that was in that mode.
Yeah, it's Brotherhood that's the first one. Revelations has it as well, and I think 3 was the last one to have it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they kind of tapered off of it after 3, and then Unity had the 4-player co-op where all of you were the same assassin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man. Unity still the only Assassin's Creed I never finished.
Yeah. So, remember back when Sony said we're going to shut down the PlayStation 3 and Vita and PSP store, and then people threw a fit, and then they didn't?
Yep.
Well, now
I do remember.
Sony's basically going to make you quit because they're removing payment options from all of those stores. You can no longer use a credit card or PayPal. The only way you can buy stuff off that store is through PSN cards.
Well, you can. That's not true. You can add to your account off of a PC or a different Sony console that still has access. I think what people don't understand is like this is a security thing. Like that's the reason why they're doing it. Like Nintendo did it with the. Now I think you can still do it in America, but like in Japan and Europe, I want to say you can't use a credit card on the 3DS anymore. And it's just that's all it is. It's security.
It doesn't necessarily surprise me because both of those systems have been hacked from here to the moon and back. So,
Yeah. With less and less updates coming to it, which is the reason why you have an update that says improve stability or whatever. It's not. It's to make it so people can't hack the console. And that's all that this is. It's just removing the ability to take your credit card information because it won't. Plain and simple.
All right. Last story. It's a combo. Combo.
Combo.
The final Smash character has been revealed.
It has been.
And it is another sword character. Nah, it's
Technically, it's a K-Blade.
Sora.
Sora. Gorsh. Yeah, it's Sora. He's coming to Smash. I don't care. There won't be any Disney shit in it because
Yeah.
fucking Sora. Alongside this announcement, they also, I guess Doomslayer is going to be a Mii outfit, but thanks. And then Kingdom Hearts, all of the games are coming to the Nintendo Switch, but they're all cloud.
Always a butt.
So you can't actually they're not native. They're all cloud versions. Even the original games, which were running on PS2.
PS2. Yeah, that's where I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like, what? What? The Switch can't run fucking Kingdom Hearts 2?
I think it's just so they can say all the trilogies in one place because it's probably a harder sell to be like, 1 and 2 are available, and 3 you have to stream.
1 and 2 and 2.8673 to the 15th power is available now.
I mean, Switch doesn't even have enough power to let Metroid crawl, so I'm not sure why you guys expect anything else.
Yeah. Why can't Metroid crawl? I've still not had that. Nobody's answered my question.
Nope.
You sons of bitches.
Been waiting for a long time.
I know, right? Alright, that's all the news I got. I'm going to bounce over to the emails. I'm going to save one. One of them's for Drew, so I'm going to save that for him. But I do have another one from Antonio, and it says, alright guys, I got some good news and some bad news. The good news is I'm really enjoying both Metroid Dread and Far Cry 6. Once again, in an open world game, I've spent so much time off the beaten path that I've become way too overpowered very early in the campaign. The bad news is that I think I have a pilonidal cyst. Okay, I will read this. It's usually caused by hair penetrating the skin and causes an abscess to form. I've had one at the top of my tailbone, but unfortunately, this one is on my butt cheek right beside my tunnel exit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, wiping is an absolute pain. And if it doesn't resolve itself, I'll have the doctor go in, who will most likely drain it. That's not the problem. The problem is that I'll have a wound right next to my exit strategy. Whew.
That sucks, man.
That's rough.
Just gotta do what they do for the cysts that like wrists have, and just have someone smack it with a book.
On an unrelated note, I tried Arby's for the first time a week ago, and I actually enjoyed it. I had a smokehouse brisket and a Greek gyro. It was pretty tasty. I felt like I needed to try it because it sort of has a bad rap among black people, primarily because roast beef isn't that popular among us, except for a few, including me.
Arby's can be very good. Can be.
When it is, it's really good.
And when you find an Arby's that is good, that's the Arby's you go to. Don't try any other ones.
Yes, 100%, because if you go to the bad one, it's always bad. It's never good. I do have some tweets. I did get some more Hall & Oates tweets.
Hey.
So I'm going to send those people the rest of the codes. Rufus says, a Hall & Oates song that would make a great video game is my favorite. Dance on Your Knees. I envision a rhythm dance game for paraplegics.
Oh,
Holy shit!
yeah. That's
Whoa.
Yikes.
Whoa.
Did you guys talk about Call & Oates?
Call & Oates?
You never heard of Call & Oates?
Why does that sound familiar? I think I've heard this before.
There's a phone number.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
That you can call and it's your emergency Hall & Oates hotline.
Yes,
So-
I put it as my the header for my Maneater
Yeah.
review, my first Maneater review.
That's pretty funny.
I didn't realize it had a name.
Yep, Call & Oates.
Great.
Daryl says, how about Maneater, of course, and one-on-one for those pesky humans in the water? And then
Right.
Henrik says, hope your contest is still up. How about Hall & Oates with Art of Heartbreak and Hatful Boyfriend? All right.
Okay.
So I got 3 codes left. I had 3 more entries. Y'all will get some DMs. With some
Enjoy Maneater.
Maneater's an awesome game. All right,
Enjoy
Stuart.
Eatings of the Men.
Stuart writes in. It says, chaps, longtime listener here and fan user of Google Stadia. For a podcast that proclaims play games, not consoles, I thought your comments on Stadia last week were pretty lame. Hashtag Stadia 100.
I think Stadia's pretty lame. Like, what? It's not. How do I put this? It is purely the business practice of Stadia. I don't have an issue with the idea of streaming games, especially when, in theory, it would cost a user less money. In theory, that seems perfect, right? It's as you're not buying a box, but there is no cost-saving mechanic with Stadia. You're paying for the subscription, you're paying for your internet, you're paying for the games. So that really seems pointless to me. Especially when you're having to stream, or your data usage goes up because you're having to stream rather than just download once. Obviously, playing online games does take some data, but nowhere near as much as downloading a game. So that's where my issue with Stadia is. I don't care where you play it, but like they sold that as this is the future. And
The last game that came out on it was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That's not the future.
yeah, that's another another issue. But it was a solution to a problem nobody has.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a
solution
weird
to
thing.
a problem that they even like Google themselves knew the internet was bad enough in the United States that they started putting internet in. It was called Google Fiber, and then they stopped doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like-
Google Fiber's dead, isn't it?
Yeah. So not only does Google have a really good track record of just killing things, they also understood that internet speeds in America, and this goes into Canada as well, it's just shit. It's shit. And they backed out of that to then move into a service that streams 4K video games to you over the internet. Those are two wildly different ideologies. So either the internet's good enough that you can do this, and this is why you're selling the product, or the internet isn't good enough, and that's the reason why you previously worked on getting better internet to people.
Another thing that I think you should definitely be concerned with is that I've heard from multiple people that Stadia is literally on its way out the door. Like, I know that they're putting new games on it, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, they're those were contracts
They're putting
that
games
were,
on it."
Well, those were contracts that were written before. I don't think Google is signing anything past 2023. I think they've stopped. And I think this service is going to slowly close shop, and it's just because there's no demand for it. And the reason that I'm anti-Stadia is because once this is gone, this is gone. Like, Google's not going to keep Stadia running indefinitely. And I know you can say that about the other machines, but let's be fair, the youngest console on the market right now just hit its 20th anniversary. Okay? Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft probably ain't going anywhere for a while. How's your Google Hangouts? How's your Google Glass? Google, like Anthony said, is terrible about taking ideas, putting them out there, and then just dropping them like a bad habit.
And here's the thing. Even if Stadia worked out, they get rid of things that are working. You know, like, say what you will, but like, Nintendo never has like really pulled back on a successful product. Yes, over time they eventually move on to the next thing. But, you know, Microsoft got rid of the Windows Phone not because it was popular. You know?
No.
Like, it wasn't popular. That's the reason why they got rid of it. They got rid of Zune because it wasn't popular. And they worked as devices, but that doesn't mean anything. So they pulled the plug because it just didn't make money.
Yep. I'm assuming Stadia will be gone by 2023.
But Google gets rid of things that are working. Like, they just get rid of things. That's where I'm like, I don't... And the fact that you own nothing is where I'm like really iffy with it. Like, you have no ownership. None. Because it's all on servers. There's no download option. You know? Like, it's just... There's a lot to it that makes me upset with it as a system. But more than anything, it's like, I know my internet speeds. They're not great.
I have wonderful internet speeds, and Google Stadia still would hitch for me.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not like I don't.
I think xCloud is cool too, but that thing hitches for me as well. Like,
yeah,
I would not play if I had an option. Like, I'll use xCloud for what it's going to be intended for this fall, which is like if I want to test a game out before I download it. That's the only time I'll use it. I will never play a straight game streaming. It's just there's just too much of it there. You know, like even still video sometimes has issues streaming. Like, you ever be watching something on Netflix and all of a sudden it just looks like garbage? I mean, it still happens. And I certainly don't want that to be my video games. So, I don't know. I just think having only one option to stream games, and the thing is you're not even like man, some of the stuff they're adding lately, I'm just like, why?
Assassin's Creed, I don't know how much they're charging for Assassin's Creed 4, but that game is like $15 for a physical copy.
Dude, $15 is way too much for that game at this point.
I know.
Like,
I know.
You can probably get it for like $5.
I was gonna say you get the whole thing with all the DLC for $10.
Yeah, it's
on
just...
sale. Like, it's. But what I'm saying is like removing internet from the equation. Like, it is dirt cheap to go into a store and just pick up a physical copy.
I'm gonna check for you right now, Anthony. I want to know how much Assassin's Creed Black Flag is $30. That's for
On Stadia, it is.
yeah. On Stadia, it's $30 for the core game. If you want the gold edition, it's $50.
That's just not okay.
Dude,
Like,
Assassin's
I'm
Creed
sorry.
Unity is $30.
Well, to be fair, Black Flag's much better.
It is,
Yeah.
but Unity is what, like $4.99 everywhere?
At best, it ain't even worth that.
Yeah. These prices are crazy. The original Watch Dogs Complete Edition, $33. Wow.
Like that's just that. It's almost like they know they can't make the money through subscriptions or whatever, so they're just going to charge you a ton for the game. Yeah, sorry, that it's just like this is the worst version of the product for the most amount of money.
I have no friends on Stadia. I just realized I was logged into my account on Stadia because I did have an account,
okay.
and like I have
Okay.
no friends on
I thought you were
Stadia.
just being mean to people.
No, I have no friends on Stadia. How do I see my games? That's the weird thing. Like here, I was like looking through my Stadia account. There's a controller, but if I click on it, it just shows me how to plug a controller in. Like I don't. Oh, here's my library. I own Wave Break and Crata. Those are my two games I own. Crata sucked. That game was terrible. Wave Break was not very good either. Like that's the other issue is like the one exclusive game that was on Stadia that I played, I forget what it was called, was just not very good.
The Ouya had more exclusives.
Man, people still talk
Like-
about that frog game.
Yeah, it was just the oh god, I can't remember what it's called.
I can't either, but you just like try to take the crown.
Insurance fraud from Saints Row.
Yeah, pretty
That's-
much.
That's basically what it was. Yeah,
And Tower, what was it? The Tower game.
Tower Climb,
No, it wasn't Tower Climb.
Tower Fall.
Tower Fall. That's the one. The opposite of climb. Fall.
Yes, Tower Climb is a roguelike.
Oh God, go away.
It's actually great. You have to climb the tower and you manually have to like hold on to the sides. It's like and you look like a lemming.
Man, you have no idea, like, my inbox of how much stuff I see per day. Like, if I see the word rogue in it, how quickly I hit that X button to close that email. It cracks me up. Alright, Shogun Beats sends us a tweet. It says, Battlefield is supposed to be a large-scale team class-based shooter. This game has forgotten its roots. The specialists all look the same, so I wasted a lot of my bullets on my teammates. Good thing someone is running support. Oh, wait, he's got a grappling hook and not an ammo box. $70. And you know what the sad part is? That I had a ton of fun, even with the bugs and the design changes, but I don't think this game is ready. Did you guys try it out? So, I booted up the Battlefield 2042 beta, and have y'all ever played Battlefield? Like, have you ever played the game, like the multiplayer?
Yeah.
So, I spawned into a point, I ran to the objective marker, dead.
All right.
I spawned into the game, ran to the objective marker, dead. I repeated this for about a half hour, and I was like, you know what? This game's not for me.
Like someone else is just sniping you or something?
Yeah, like I just kept dying. Like the people in
Okay.
these games are too good. That like as soon,
Yeah.
by the time I realize somebody's shooting me, I'm dead. And I'm like, okay. And what's funny is most of the time after I die, the person that killed me dies too. I'm like, how is this fun? Like, unless you're really, really good at it, how is this fun?
I liked Battlefield 4. That's the last one I put any sort of time into.
I like Battlefield where I'm playing with other people that suck like me. But-
thank God for matchmaking, putting me with people that are also bad.
See, that's the thing is like I just matchmake it. I'll tell you this though, Battlefield 2042, I wish to God there was a campaign because that is a fucking beautiful game. Holy cow, that game looks incredible. But I'll never play it. Especially not $70 for a multiplayer only game. The only thing I'm stupid enough to spend that much money on is Overwatch 2. At least I'm honest.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the Halloween thing starts on Tuesday. For Overwatch.
Oh, yeah. Ryan, you're gonna be really excited for that, right?
Oh, I'm so just over the moon about it.
You know what? You'd think y'all have
Can't
never been
wait.
on this podcast before. Anthony
There's
thought I
people
was.
that-
Anthony thought I was
Can't wait.
quitting. Anthony thought I was
I
quitting because I
thought
hadn't
you-
played in a
I-
month.
Yeah, I thought you were good, and then you relapsed.
No, I was just taking a break because I was playing.
You relapsed.
No, I was playing other games. And then this weekend, I was like, you know what? It's been a long
Playing
time. I'm
better
going to hop
games.
back in and get my feet back under me. And I suck right now, being a month rusty. Like, I couldn't win a game to save my life. But you know what? I still enjoyed getting back into the groove, getting my feet under me. And now the Halloween part's here, and they've got a Roadhog clown skin, and I'm going to get that because that's creepy. And I'm going to play some Overwatch this week and get some skins. You know? And then maybe I'll take another break. You know, through November. Maybe I won't play it in November. I don't know. You can't just shut me off, Anthony. I've been playing this game for five and a half years now.
Can't shut you up about it either.
This is true.
I say that, but I talked about Metroid for how long? I'm self-aware enough.
Well, there's a game, and people play one game pretty regularly. It's like people who talk about WoW, people who talk about EverQuest, people who talk about Counter-Strike, Call of Duty. You know, they get into one game and they talk about it because there's a reason why they've been playing it for as long as they have. And for me, that's the game. So I can't.
I get it. I make fun of you. I understand it.
Sometimes it hurts when I don't play it. I feel like I'm missing a part of me. I've been playing it for so long. Maybe someday we'll get the sequel. Maybe. But anyway, that's all the tweets I got. If you want to tweet at us, at N4G Podcast. I did not ignore your email, Daryl. I saw it. It's kind of addressed to Drew, so I'll wait till Drew's back on the show before I read that email. Hopefully that'll be next
It's
week.
7 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. He finally texted me back, by the way. He's apparently driving.
I wonder where he's off to.
He's in South Carolina right now.
Oh, world traveling Drew.
Yeah, world traveling. He travels between like 3 southern states. That's not really world traveling. If you want to send us an email, it's podcast@ztgd.com. You can shoot those over. We'll read them on the show. You can yell at us about Stadia. I don't care. That's fine. I get it. I'm sure you're yelling at me right now going, why are you talking about Overwatch again for the 400th episode?
They were already yelled out like, "Shut the fuck up! I get it. You don't like Metroid Dread."
No, they're writing you angry emails being like, I can't believe you don't like a Nintendo game. I saw somebody on Twitter the other day. This is how fanboy I saw somebody on Twitter. The Resident Evil story that we talked about, how they sold 10 million copies of Resident Evil. They were comparing Resident Evil to Luigi's Mansion as in horror sales. I was like,
Okay.
Luigi's Mansion's not a horror game.
Yeah, no.
Wombat plays Luigi's Mansion. It's not a horror game.
That's true. That's the definition.
Yeah, if Wombat don't play it, it's not a horror game. I just,
He says
If
that.
I-
You say that, but
yeah.
Wombat, you've played Fallout 3 and stuff, right?
I have.
I'd say there's pretty good horror sections in those games.
There are some horror parts to them, yes, but they aren't horror games.
I suppose, yes. You're right. I am stretching the definition.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Wombat secretly is out there playing some Silent Hill or some shit.
I'm
True
just
story.
saying, like, Luigi's Mansion under the pretense that, well, Wombat's played it, so it can't be. I'm just saying. He has also played Fallout
But that's not a
3,
horror
and
game.
that you're, again, my point being, though, that is not a great example of what makes and does not make a horror. I don't know why I'm so involved with this terrible joke. Never mind, fuck it. Just fuck it. Just
What?
it's not. It wasn't funny. I was just really forcing it. I was like, yeah, all right.
Okay. Hey,
Well, just-
somebody had an Arby's question and we didn't even divulge into food, so I feel like that was a
It's a win.
That was a
it wasn't
win.
an Arby's question. It was an Arby's statement.
But what's funny is like he talked about Arby's and the two things he ordered were not roast beef. He ordered a brisket and a gyro. Like I've never had anything at Arby's but roast beef.
I don't know what a brisket is, to be honest with you.
You don't know what brisket is?
What?
Yeah, no. Like, I'm sure I do, but like, I've never probably called it that. I've probably just eaten it.
He probably called
It's
it some.
excellent barbecue food, and you should just look it up.
He's probably called it some weird Canadian thing, right?
Let's find out.
Beef brisket is what you should look up.
What
I
brisket?
figured that was.
Beef brisket.
Beef brisket? Yeah,
Oh, it's just a cut of meat. Got it.
yeah.
I don't know what I thought it was like a more of a prepared meal.
Well, it is. Usually it's smoked, barbecue style. It's excellent.
Tastes just like it smells. Delicious.
Oh. I'm not sure where the fuck that was going, and I was like, I don't know.
All right.
We're just really devolving off the rails.
I mean, I almost feel like I haven't done a podcast unless I had a food conversation. I don't know. It's just weird. But
I mean, we can fall into the. We can always just make our public service announcement of don't go to fucking Burger King, please God, don't do that.
well, I would hope people would know that by now.
You would hope, but I feel like every day there's someone making that mistake.
Oh,
It's nearby, it'll be quick.
you know what I had yesterday that I hadn't had in a long ass time?
No, because I wasn't there with you.
Well, you should have been, because I had Little Caesars.
Oof.
When you say you had Little Caesars,
Yes.
did you have a hot and ready?
I don't know if it was hot and ready. I ordered it off DoorDash. DoorDash just added
Oh,
Little
then it's
Caesars.
Not a hot and ready.
I
It
did
wasn't
get.
like $6 or $5.
Well, I mean, I had to have it delivered, so it was like $8.
So you had probably got a hot and ready.
But I did order 2 bags of Crazy Bread, which.
Yeah, that shit makes me feel awful, but I love it.
Oh, dude, like it sat in my office while I was like after I ate, and like my office just smelled like fucking Crazy Bread for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was smelling it after eating it, I was like, I'm so full, and it's making me sick to smell it. But yeah, I hadn't had Little Caesars in probably like a year, because there isn't one near me. I just discovered that the DoorDash added it, so I had them deliver me a pepperoni pizza and a couple bags of Crazy Bread. And then everybody in my house got wind of the Crazy Bread, and the Crazy Bread is now gone. So I don't know what I'm going to have
Crazy
today.
Bread. Crazy Bread is the shit.
Crazy Bread is really good. And it was warm when it got here. You know, like, sometimes you get it and it's like
yeah,
hard.
It's like, yeah,
Like
I'll
this.
still eat it.
No, I'll still
you know.
eat it, but this, like, when I opened the bag of this one, it was like, I know this is going to sound bad, but it was soft, wet, and hot.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Oh, shit. It was delicious. Delicious. Anyway, these guys on Twitter, Complacent Robot, Ryan, Wombat RP, me, ZTGD site, ZTGD content, Phoenix Down, rocking the Diablo 2 Resurrected. I know they were off this week, but I think they're back next week. Or sorry, this week, because this goes up on Monday. I don't think I have anything else other than that. We've got a bunch of games coming out. I'm sure we'll be talking about them. We're getting close to the end of the year. Gentlemen, it's time to start making your lists. For Wombat, that's the 10 games you played this year. For the rest of us, it's...
10? I gotta have 10?
Well, I mean, you can try.
I got some games I gotta play before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think that I've got to remember, like somebody mentioned, Hitman 3 was a game somebody mentioned the other day. You know that came out this year?
Yeah, I bought it, and I still haven't played it.
But I feel like that game came out last year. But it was
Yeah.
it was this year.
January.
Yeah.
It came out in January.
God. Resident Evil 8's the other one that I keep forgetting came out this year. Like, Jesus. I'm going to have to look at a list of the 2021 releases because I don't remember half the shit that came out this year. It's whatever's fresh in my brain. Anyway, that is the show. Unless anybody has anything else, we're going to get out here. I'm going to go get some food, watch some football.
Football.
Football! Anything else about it? Final piece, bitch.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast.
Oh, you can...
Zero tolerance.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
I always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.